Ooh, wow, not a great start. Well, what's going on, guys? Pete over here with First Read Fantasy. I am joined with my buddy Ernie. You can follow Ernie at Fantasy Anani. That's Fantasy Anon with a Y. We're gonna do a best ball draft. It is the 21st of July. I'm a little bit rusty here as I just finally got back from my vacation, my honeymoon. Zach Linton said, "Welcome back. Appreciate it, buddy." And yeah, so we're kind of just gonna rock and roll here. We're gonna do the puppy two. We're gonna talk a little NFL news. Talk about what's going on most recently. We're like right on the cusp and the tip of just like things starting to pop. Training camp, Cowboys veterans reported today. You had veterans for a few other teams report a couple days prior, and a lot of the NFL is reporting tomorrow with veterans. Live practices, hitting full pads are going to start going on this week, and it's an exciting time. So we're excited for it. Ernie, what's going on with you, man?
Not much, man. I have actually been away from the game too for a couple of weeks. I had some stuff going on, but yeah, I'm excited because it's like just when I'm getting back to the swing of thing, like you said, like a lot of training camps like going on and stuff. So excited to start hearing the camp reports and all the little nuggets like who's excelling and who might be on the axe the fantasy axe list. But yeah, we'll dive into all that.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the perfect time where it's your favorite players. Uh, Maybe you don't start out too hot in camp, and you say, well, it's just training camp, just getting started, not a big deal. But if your players that you're in on start doing really well, you say, damn, look at that. I was right about that guy. So, it's all about how you like to swing it, how you kind of like to position it. But either way, it's gonna be exciting. Recent news today. I guess Naheem Hines signed with the Chargers, adding some depth to that running back room.
I would avoid
Whether
Omarion Hampton at all costs now.
whether that's necessarily an indication on Najee Harris or whatever, I don't really believe that's the case. Obviously Najee's got that eye injury, but Hines could probably maybe just be like a special teams guy for them.
Sure.
And maybe just probably pretty much a depth piece. But let's rock and roll here. Let me see if there's anything else really that I missed today. I mean, Cincinnati Bengals. I guess interested to get your thoughts on this, Ernie. But Shamar Stewart still not signed, still not in camp. The only first round pick to not sign. Pretty much all of the second round picks have signed. And their owner pretty much came out today and said it's not really a money thing at this point anymore. They're just trying to protect themselves in case, there's personal conduct, potential conduct detrimental to the team. In that scenario, that would void guaranteed money owed to Shamar Stewart. And the clause the Bengals added recently, it mirrors other teams actually around the league. As you probably know, Giants added that same clause to their high-end first-round pick, who signed it and did not have an issue. And I mean, really, I don't really take the owner's side a ton in these. And I think with the Bengals, we're very quick to just say they're a cheap, shitty organization when it comes to these kinds of things. So we automatically assume. But hearing the owner come out today and pretty much just say it's not a money thing, it's really just like if he goes to jail, like we don't think we should be paying the guy. I think that's pretty fair to say. I don't know if I'd be getting paid for my job if I went to jail. And I just think like if you're not an idiot, you shouldn't really be in a scenario where you're going to lose that kind of money. Maybe that's old school. Maybe that's a GM bootlicking kind of thing or ownership bootlicking. But to me, I think Stewart's he's running a risk here. And I'll let you hear your thoughts here. But the last thing I would say is, I know with the CBAs and the players, they don't have a lot of leverage. And so they try to keep as much leverage as possible. And so if they're not getting anything in return, why put the clause in the contract? But Stewart's also risking, if he gets a waiver signed and accepted by the NCAA, he can go back to college and maybe get injured or, maybe has a really, really bad senior season and falls out of the first round because next year you're older, right? Like there's a lot of factors that can happen if he doesn't play this year, and he's forfeiting that and re-rolling the dice. And there's risk. A lot can happen from now until next year.
Yeah, man, and I mean, it's such a tricky situation because again, like I don't know if I love that pick. I feel like he's like, you know, he's a question mark and you're kind of shooting for the upside, right? And it was nice to see them go on the defensive side of the ball because obviously Cincinnati's offense is elite. But you look at all their scores last year, it was one score games, and a lot of times it was just like versus the Chargers. Like that's a game that sticks out to me. Like, the defense just, gave them that game. But as for what's going on, man, like I think they will figure it out ultimately. Like he was a top 20 pick, man. Like, he's still making a lot of money at the end of the day. I don't know why you would give that up because, you know, if he backs out, here's what I think happened. Will he get drafted next year if he gets a clause and goes back to the NCAA? Of course.
Yeah.
But do you think all 31 other teams watching this, right? And now they know, like, okay, this is why the Bengals don't want to, do this because he does have character issues. Number one, this is a learning experience for the Bengals because now it's like, it's simple, guys. There's so many good players in it. Like, you were picking 17th. There is so, like, your scouting department should have so many options on the board where it's like, all right, guys, like, yeah, we like this guy, but do we trust the character? Right. And now look what happens when you could have went any other way. Like, dude, the Bengals have a million needs. So that's the other thing where it's like teams are going to be like, okay, like, never again will I take a guy that, like, this is why they have interviews. Like, you're getting like, dude, you're about to pay this guy millions of dollars. You know what I mean? Like, this is why you're doing this. And I think the whole NFL is going to, learn from this because this is what could happen. But ultimately, man, like it's kind of foolish for him to walk away because I think he'll end up leaving so much money on the table. I can't imagine him being a first round pick. I think he'll get blackballed by the league and, that will be the end of it. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. I
Yeah.
just think you should avoid these players, man. Like if you have any doubts, you got to go with some. This is your first round pick. You got to go with the guy is like, bro, this is a pillar of our organization. This is a guy that's going to be signing footballs after we win a game. Like that's what you want to kind of go for. Like the Giants do that, and it's kind of corny, but for a long time it worked. Like when they had a good GM, it worked. So I always think that character should be a big factor in this.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're doing a ton of due diligence on these players. Like, I mean, you should be. I'm not going to sit here and say that the guy's a piece of shit, but I would say I also worry if the player's being taken advantage of a little bit. Shamar Stewart here, by his agent, right? Who maybe is the agent's trying to get something historical done, or maybe he's trying to set a new precedent and he believes because like to me that's the only thing that really makes sense at this point. I mean, because I feel like he's not getting the best advice at this point anymore because season's about to start. We're talking about going back. I mean, here's the other side of it too, and then I want to get to the Cowboys and then we'll kick this draft off. But when you talk about unless he has a monster season next year and takes a step forward, he won't go first round. Okay. So we're talking about this year. He was picked. We said what, 16 or was it 19? I think it was 19.
Oh, I thought he was 17. My bad.
Might have been 17. But in terms of the contract for the 2025 rookie pay scale, right? It's all slotted, right? And then they work out the guarantees from there. 17, 18, 19, you're at $18 million total for the contract. If you're drafted first round and you're in that range, you're at about $18 million, right? Say he falls into the second round, right? You're looking at second round is just the first pick in the second round is $11 million.
That's what I'm saying. You leave so much
losing
money on the table.
$7 million
Yes.
off the bat. Right. And we're not even talking about signing bonuses. Right. I mean, you're talking about there's just a big difference. Now, a lot of second round picks got their contracts fully guaranteed or majority of it fully guaranteed. So things could change from now until next year. But we're still talking about the total value of the contract, the AAV, and just the total number is going to be lower. He's not going to go first round unless he is an absolute monster and takes the next step because if he doesn't take a step forward, he's a physical freak. He's getting an extra year in college. Like, if he doesn't take a step forward in production, now teams are sitting here thinking, okay, well, like when he was drafted last year, was he has all these tools, right? And he's a freak athlete. Well, he got an extra year in college, an extra year older, and still didn't take a jump in production. Now you're starting to say, okay, well, maybe he isn't going to be that good, or how much effort are we going to need to put into him to be that good? And then obviously the issues with this probably kicks him out of the first round again, unless he's a monster, which we don't know. So we'll see with that. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the Dallas Cowboys, and I know Scott said let's discuss Jared Jones and his mouth. Yeah, this one's head scratching to me. I really. I think Jared Jones needs to take his meds, man, and maybe stop getting on the microphone so much. I don't really know what he's doing. He pretty much took a shot at Micah Parsons and his quarterback, Dak Prescott, for whatever reason. Pretty much the reporters are talking to him about the contract situation, and he said just because we sign him, in reference to Micah Parsons, doesn't mean we're going to have him. He was hurt 6 games last year, Jones said, which, to be fair, he was actually hurt 4 games, not 6 games, right? Then he got into it, and Jerry said, contracts are 4 or 5 years. There's a lot of water on the bridge. If you step out there and do something in the first 2 or 3, you can get hit by a car. Seriously, there's a lot to look at over a lot of years that could make a big difference. Have you ever heard of any clubs committing to players and then they didn't pan out when they committed to them? Because we have. Then he goes on to say, I remember signing a player for the highest paid position in the league, and he got knocked out 2/3 of the year. Dak Prescott. So there's a lot of things you can think about, just as the player does, when you're thinking about committing and guaranteeing money. I'm sure Brian Schottenheimer's like, holy fuck, what did I get myself into? So I don't know what Jerry Jones is doing. The longer you wait on this Micah Parsons thing, TJ Watt just got 44 million per year. I mean, what are we doing? I don't
The
understand.
Steelers are turning into a shit show. And the only thing I'll say about that situation, I could live with the shot at Dak. Like, all right, Jerry, like I could live with that. Dak deserves it. I can't live with Mika. Like, dude, like taking a shot at Parsons is insane.
Well, especially when Parsons is pissed off. And Parsons retweeted a JJ Watt tweet today, which JJ was pretty much shitting on, like, the fact that that Jerry said what he said. JJ tweeted out and said, what did he say? Hold on. JJ said, anytime you can publicly take a dig at your star quarterback and your star pass rusher simultaneously right before the season begins, you just got to take it. Nothing makes guys want to fight for you more than hearing how upset you are that they got hurt while fighting for you, the owner. And Micah Parsons retweeted it. So, I mean, the optics are just not good. Regardless, I mean, Dak, whether it's Micah, like, I just don't know. I don't know what we're doing here, man.
You think in a weird way, this was some like they want to like rebuild, like Dallas is throwing up the white flag, and they want to trade Dak and Parsons. Like just the only reason why is this next year's QB class is insane. Like, even if it's just Nussmeier and Aller, like I think both are gonna be awesome. That's just me.
Sure.
I also think Archie could, I think Archie's saying, like, oh, I'm staying another year. I think what they're doing is smart. I don't think that it's not that it's gonna happen. I just think he's doing it as a buffer. I think he wants to see what teams are gonna be picking, right? And he's like, oh yeah, I don't want to play in Cleveland. So I'll go back to college a year.
Before you continue, moving Dak would be an absolute fucking nightmare. Okay. Number one,
because of the contract.
Yeah, the dead cap hit is insane. I mean, if they were to, let's just say this year, it's $180 million in dead cap. Next year, it's 129, right? 2027, it's 55, right? Now, you can hope and expect that the team acquiring him, takes on some of that guaranteed money, and pays for some of that to give Dallas relief. But, I I don't know. I mean, maybe the worry is I think Jerry and them have gotten burned when they have paid guys like Zeke, and so they've been hesitant to do so, right? But like they did the same thing with CeeDee Lamb last year, like, and Lamb got a bigger deal than he would have if they just paid him. So like, I don't know. Mike is already getting 24 million a year. Edge rushers age extremely well. Even if they get injured, they typically age really well. I'm talking about like ACLs and stuff, like typically still age pretty well. So like I just I don't know what we're doing here, man. Like if you didn't there's no then if there were possibly hitting the reset, like why give Dak that kind of money? And I get it. Like we've seen Denver moved on from Russ. We saw who Rodgers, the Jets just ate a decent amount of money for Rodgers. Right? We're not even close to that kind of money though. Like
Right.
Dak's contract's way bigger than those guys, way bigger
Yeah,
in
man.
terms of guaranteed money. It's not good, man.
Oh, without a doubt, man.
Yeah, but all right. Well, let's not keep the people waiting anymore. Give me 1 second.
I'm ready to fire off. Yeah, man. You know what the one thing is like all these contract things and like it's something that I'm not an expert in. And something I gotta look into more. Obviously the dead cap and all, but it's like if you're a team, right? It's like I would almost respect a team if they did this, where it's like, hey man, like we're in purgatory. We're like at best, we're like a wild card team, right? But really it's like, we're a scrappy 500 team. It's like let's suck for two. Like, okay, like our dead cap is like, right. Like if your whole plan is like, all right, we're gonna punt and we're gonna get, we're gonna pull a Sixers, right? We're gonna shoot for a top pick. What does it matter what your cap situation looks like the next 2 years? You know what I mean?
Because
Because you
they're such because the problem is they're so far from that. And number one, they
sure.
just paid CeeDee Lamb. So they just paid CeeDee Lamb.
All right, Dallas is screwed. It's great though,
They
but
they
no,
they paid Trevion Diggs, right? Like, they just traded for George Pickens. Like they're
yeah,
not making moves that say rebuild. If you told me that the Pittsburgh Steelers, I could understand a little bit because they're not tied up with a ton of bad contracts outside of they just gave Watt, but like
yeah.
Rodgers is on a 1-year deal. So like realistically, like he's gone. But
Well,
that's
none of
the same
this.
thing where it's like they're gonna be stuck between a shit and a fart where Rodgers leaves, and then they're picking not high enough to go get the quarterback they want next year. So it's
I
it's not.
agree
I
with
don't
you,
know.
man. It just
It's
doesn't.
hard.
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying, like, then why make those that makes no
Oh, I
sense.
agree. I agree.
Like it's like crazy because it's like yeah, like they just traded for Pickens, so like why would they? I don't. Whatever.
No,
Um,
I don't get it either. I mean, you're also talking about a team that gave up what, a 3rd-round pick for
But this
Mingo
is why
last year.
this is why Sean Payton's a god though. Because Sean Payton, like, bro, I love what he did at the end of the day because it's like he did something that 99% of people wouldn't have the balls to do. And he's like, yo, I'm tearing it down. He's like, I'm accepting, like, we would only go,
Yeah.
this is our ceiling with where we're at. And it's like, yeah, it sucks. It's like, but this is how you amend a bad decision. We made a bad decision, right? And how are we going to fix it? Let me tell you, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to take this guy. I'm going to find us a quarterback. And look, he delivered. You have Bo Nix, who I
Well,
love.
perfect storm though. The difference is
Bro,
like
dude, it's not like he had like a top 3 pick.
no, but Peyton also has the cachet and the stones to like have buy-in from ownership to say, hey, like when there's no doubt in my mind that when Peyton got traded to Denver, the owners knew, hey, like he pretty much said, this is my show. I will
Fuck
try to
yeah.
make it work with Russ, but like if it doesn't, like I may cut him. Like I think that was put on the table before he even got there.
He's
So
earned
like
that.
you
He's
know what I mean?
earned
And
that.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Not every like you're talking about fucking Brian Schottenheimer. Like dude's a dead man walking. Probably he hasn't even fucking like hasn't even played a game yet. And like the way Jerry is, the way things are already, like he's probably a fucking dead man walking. I thought
Dude,
it was a terrible hire to begin with to me. So
Dallas is going to kill them week 1. I mean, I'm sorry, Philly's going to kill them week 1, not Dallas. I'm sorry. I can't wait for that. What was the spread? 7?
I don't know. I didn't look at it yet. I haven't looked at those yet.
Schottenheimer. No, it's
All
just
right.
what you said is so true. Like imagine like you look at teams and their coach is Sean Payton and then yours is Schottenheimer.
I mean, hey, look, like, I don't know. I think Schottenheimer sucks. So, like, I
I'm
don't
with
even.
you. Dude, that's why I'm
And you know
laughing.
what's
It's a good
crazy
point.
too? By the way, I think this gets flown on the radar. Isn't Shane Waldron the OC for the fucking Jags?
I'm not if that's true, I'm not drafting any of their play. I will trade Brian Thomas to every league I have him right now.
I'm pretty. No, I wouldn't say all that, but yeah, he's the pass game coordinator. He's a pass game coordinator. That's
Dude,
sketchy as hell,
that
bro.
scares
That's,
me.
that's kind of
That dude.
because the utilize,
Oh
but
man.
you just gotta hope that Cohen like is really the one calling the plays there.
I
Because
hope
Shane
so.
Waldron, like that offense was so fucking
Was
vanilla and
Waldron? Where
pathetic
was
last
Waldron
year.
last year?
It
Where
was
was
with
Waldron?
Chicago.
He was which? That's where he was.
And they
Okay,
were,
so
and dude, JSN was so happy when he left Seattle. That's where he was before the year before that. And JSN was like, JSN fucking hated him. JSN went on a Bears podcast and literally sat there and they were like, "Oh, how should Bears fans feel about Waldron?" Like, and he was just like I don't even think he made like he pretty much like indicated like he fucking did not like the guy at all. So we'll see,
well,
but. All
looking
right.
at JSN last year to this year, it kind of checks out.
That's what I'm saying. Are you ready to go?
Yes, I am, sir.
All right. So if anybody is watching, we're gonna do the puppy too. So $5 entry. We'll hit confirm. You ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to now. Yeah, these drafts are always tougher. Oh wow, shit. Oh
Oh
wow,
wait,
that's actually.
leave real quick. I didn't deposit money. Crap.
Oh, Ernie, you're lucky because
Oh
that shit
man,
was filling up fast.
I know, dude. Thank God.
So anyway, well, while you're doing that, if you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe to the show. Pretty much, if you missed anything, we're pretty much just talking about Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones made some comments today. Pretty much throwing shade at Micah Parsons and throwing shade at Dak Prescott. Also talked a little bit about the signing of Naheem Hines. So the running back, ex-Colts, ex-Buffalo running back, just signed with the Chargers. Probably more of a special teams guy. Other than that, Packers signed Zach Tom, offensive tackle to a 4-year, $88 million extension. Still no deal for Trey Hendrickson, but Bengals owner Mike Brown seems like they're getting closer is what I'm hearing. Some say it's a standoff. I've seen other people say that it sounds like they're pretty close. Steelers did drop their 1933 throwbacks, which look fucking terrible. I'll throw them up on the screen at some point. And Will Levis out for the year. Got shoulder surgery. And yeah, that's about that. And Rashi Rice will participate in training camp despite jail sentence, which he gets to pretty much pick the days that he wants to go to jail, which I'm pretty sure is a real thing actually, because I think I've heard or I know of people. I think I think my barber once told me that like when he got like 30 days in jail or something like that, like he just did weekends where it's like you could literally just do like 2 days, like continue to do just weekends or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I've never been to jail. I don't have family members in jail. I've had family members go to jail, but not anybody close enough where I have tons of experience to speak on it too much. But anyway, are you ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm going to enter again, and we will roll.
7 more to start.
Oh, 7 more. Look at that. This thing is filling quick. Oh, Hussein said Disco Raid. Uh-oh. All right, well, it looks like Disco, my buddy, Big Draft Energy, looks like he's sending people over here. I guess his stream is ending. Hussein, appreciate it, man. Appreciate Disco for throwing the lob. When Disco gets in here, we'll say hello. Looks like his buddies are coming in here. Disco, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you dropping in, man. If you want to Disco, drop your YouTube channel link in the comments so that anybody in my stream currently can go ahead and make sure they sub to your channel. It's Big Draft Energy. Appreciate it, my guy. James is in the house. Kobe, what's up, man? How's it going? Scott said it's true about jail. That's what my buddy said. Out. Yeah, that's what I heard too. I think you can. I think you can do jail like if you had the 30-day sentence, you could do like you could do weekends or something like that, and like especially if it's stretched out. I think Rice has like 4 or 5 years to do it. So like when he's getting pissed off with his girl, just fucking say, all right, I'm going to jail for a couple days or some shit like that. Did the draft start? Because my okay, wait.
Dude, I
1 second.
left and then just came back in because not like actually left on my screen because it was glitching.
Yeah, no, we're good now. At least we're good now.
You're
Clint,
five. We got some good picks.
what's up, Clint? Disco said, "Don't want to sub.
Bang.
We're here for early fantasy content. Appreciate you, man." You know what? Actually, I always forget that StreamYard has this new comment thing where it just flashes the comments, so I don't have to keep clicking all of them.
Right.
So it's beautiful, man. But that's pretty much most of the NFL news today. Philip Rivers, how about that? Philip Rivers just retired 4 years after. Just retired 4 years after like finishing up his last season with the Colts. I guess like that technically opens up his like Hall of Fame candidacy. Now the clock starts after 5 years. He can get a nod. Is that correct? Like, oh shit, I'm on the clock. Fuck. We're talking about CeeDee Lamb. I'm gonna go with CeeDee Lamb over Jefferson. I don't do it a ton, but I see a path for Lamb and I trust Dak more at this point. I don't know if I trust Waldron. I'm not Waldron, fucking Shoddy as much, but we
Dude,
talked about all that already. So
well, I mean, I don't hate that because you always like want to see like if you're gonna take a gamble on a player like that, it's like has he at least done it before? And like, what was it like a year ago when like Lamb had like his insanity year? That was insane. So like there is a
yeah.
world where it's like he has wide receiver one overall ceiling. Like we know that's there.
Oh,
Will it
right.
happen? Could.
Well, look to me like Lamb, he's playing with a team with a quarterback and Dak, who we know Dak likes to take chances, right? That running game's terrible. I don't think the defense is going to be that good. I think they're going to throw the football a ton. So, I mean, let's talk about CeeDee Lamb here for a second. Last year, 15 games played, 152 targets, 101 receptions, 1,194 yards, 6 total touchdowns. So actually, like a dip in touchdowns, which makes sense, right? Dak wasn't there for a majority of the year. He missed 2 games, CeeDee Lamb. He scored 6 touchdowns, but still 7th in points per game at 17.6. I expect those touchdowns to go up from 6. I know Pickens is there. Maybe he vultures. I'm expecting Lamb to be somewhere around 8 to 10 this year. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's pretty much in the top 10 for touchdowns every single year. But I like Lamb this year. I think he really does have wide receiver one potential. And I think Pickens opens things up for him, right? Lamb doesn't have to, Lamb can play in the slot more. Like he can also play out wide. Like Pickens is going to play out wide. You still have Cooks there, who's a respectable player. He's not like a guy that's going to carve you up, but he's still a solid chain mover. So I like CeeDee Lamb. Why don't you give me your take on Lamb, and I'll go take my next pick here.
Yeah, man. No, it's like what I was saying before. Like I like it because I feel like the Cowboys are almost like the Bengals of the NFC, where it's like, you know, really good, like solid quarterback, especially like fantasy. And they're going to be like around 500. A lot of high scoring games back and forth. So good game script. Like that's the other half of the battle of this. Hold on, I'm about to be up, and my screen is
Yeah, so you
glitching.
go for that. I think that's like you said, it's really half the battle because at the end of the day, like you know, like good offenses. I expect the offense to be pretty decent, like at least top 15. I don't know if they're going to be great, top 10. I think a lot of that depends on how Schottenheimer, coaches that team and schemes things up. But I mean, I mean, the run game could make the offense worse. But overall, I still think they should be in a lot of passing situations because I also just don't think the defense is going to be that great. You have Micah Parsons who's having issues with his contract situation now. I don't think he's going to sit out, but like I also don't really love you have Eberflus who came over from Chicago. I know Anthony, God rest his soul, was pretty like interested and intrigued by the Eberflus, like acquisition or signing, I guess, at defensive coordinator. I'm not like, super high on that. So I don't know, but is there anything else that you want to add on CeeDee Lamb before we move on?
No, no, no. I think he's a great pick, man. Like I just think, he's a top 5 wide receiver in the league. Dak is. I don't think he's a Super Bowl quarterback, but I think he's a good. I think he's a good quarterback. And they have a team where it's awesome. Like they're set up like the Bengals. Like, dude, like they're gonna be um, high scoring offense, bad defense, a lot of back and forth games. I actually think Pickens actually opens it up for Lamb.
Right.
I don't think you could really just like, defenses now have to game plan for somebody, outside of CD Lamb. So, yeah, man, he's a good pick.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Disco said, "Who is this other fellow? Haven't had the honor of getting to know him yet." Yeah, Ernie is a little bit of a newer addition. Disco. He's been doing some content. He did it a little bit with Face Off before me and Hoff. Well, when me and Hoff moved over here, he had joined Face Off a little bit. Did a little bit of writing content for them, and obviously now Face Off's gone. We've brought on Ernie over here. Ernie's a big sports betting guy. I think you do some DFS too, right? Right, Ernie?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I do it all.
DFS, best ball, anything to get a little bit of juice, man. But yeah, and if you want to follow Ernie on Twitter, Disco, his his name is a little too long. I got to teach him, I guess, to fix that in StreamYard. Your handle's cut off, Ernie, but it's fantasy football and then Anon with a Y at the end. No, I don't think Ernie's going to the expo. I don't know if I'm going to the expo yet either. I'm trying to work out the finances and stuff because I just got back from the honeymoon and I haven't really talked to my wife about it yet. Me and Hoff have been kicking the tires still. We don't know if we're going. I don't know. I don't think Ernie would go with us, but maybe you'd want to go. I don't know. It's up to you.
Disco, it's a pleasure, my friend. Dude, I would go. Let me know if you guys are going.
We're gonna drive.
When is it?
I think it's the second week in August.
On a
No,
weekend?
it's August 8th, 9th, and then we would drive home the 10th. So it's one of those things we might, if anything, we might maybe consider. I mean, honestly, like I might even be down to just fucking fly if it's really cheap, but we could talk about it. Tisca said, "I'll pick you up." Well, I got to pick Hoff up, who lives in New York at the train station, and Ernie's in Jersey. So we got people from 3 different states. We could talk about it if we end up going, though. And Hoff said correct. Yeah. Oh, Disco said you guys already follow each other, Ernie.
Dope. Hell yeah. Dude, that's my fault. I'm a better, like, if I see it, then I'm not good with like the titles and the names.
No, I got you. Hoff's on the clock here.
Oh, who you gonna take, Hoff? Let's see if he steals one of my guys so I can make fun of him later.
Well, he didn't go Rashi Rice. I have like 0 Rice exposure. This is the time I will fucking take him.
Scumbag.
Like, I mean, we're talking about getting him at the 44th pick.
Yeah.
He was going at like the 20. He was going 22 spots ahead of this. Like, I know I tweeted out and it got a lot of traction, about like me saying he's not worth a second round pick, but like I'm fine eating a 4-game suspension, which is what I think it's going to be. Maybe even pleads it down to a little bit lower. Whatever. Like, if my team's good enough and I can get Rice down the stretch, like, I'm fine with that. Like, that's fine. Players miss games. Like, players miss games. He's going to miss 4 games of suspension,
and then you get a league winner.
He could have missed. Yeah, well, he could have missed 4 games with injury. Like, guys miss games. It's the NFL. Like, so like I'm glad to take the risk there. And if it bites you in the ass, he's only a 4th round pick. I mean, like, that's a late 4th round pick.
No, dude, that was you. Nuts. It's not. You're not getting. I was taking him. If you didn't take him, I was. You know how I feel about Rashi, and I definitely feel confident that it's going to be a 4-game suspension.
Yeah,
like I feel like that's the sweet spot. I could live with that, dude. So it's like, all right, I lose 4 games, but after 4 weeks, I get a league winner for the rest of the year. Like, I'm in. Like, dude, I like Xavier Worthy. I just think Rashi was like, before he got hurt, man. Like, you look at that 3-game stretch. he's the alpha in that offense. So again, we'll see because Worthy's really good. He also, again, it was garbage time, but he flashed a little bit in the Super Bowl,
Oh
so
yeah.
he could be a rising player.
Well, Worthy went a little bit ahead of him at 37. So Worthy's ADP is going up. Obviously Rice's is going down.
That
I'm
makes
on the
that
clock.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Now I'm a little bit wow. I think Kamara fell to me, which is well, I don't think he didn't fall to me. His ADP is here now, but that's actually pretty. I'm pretty happy with that because honestly, I've been trying to go running back heavy, but like to get Bucky and then if Kamara stays healthy, like I'm confident Kamara is going to be a top 12 back on a points per game basis. Um, it's just about his health, I think, at his age. But
Yeah,
like, I love this. This team is fucking good, man. CD, Garrett Wilson, Rashi Rice, Bucky, and Kamara. I also have a
your
lot of
receivers
really
are
cheap
insane.
stacks.
Your
Yeah, and I
receivers
also
are
have a lot of
insane.
cheap stacks though. I could stack these with quarterbacks. I mean, like pretty easily. Like Dak, Fields, Mahomes. I'm probably not going to reach on. I'd rather just wait at this point. But yeah, what's your team looking like so far?
So my team is I got Josh Allen, Kenny Walker, Jamar Chase, JSN, and Jalen Waddle.
Okay, I like that.
Dude, honestly, man, I love Waddle this year. I love Kenny Walker too. Like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna gamble on Kenny Walker because one, I feel like his price is reasonable.
Sure.
Like, I understand the injury concerns; they are real, right? But CMC is an injury-prone player. Saquon Barkley is an injury-prone player. Like, look what happens when they get better trainers or whatever it is. Man, they get a healthy. They're on the field and they turn into stars. Like Kenny Walker in small sample size have showed us that, and now. With Kubiak, I think if he plays a full season, he is easily a top 10 running back. And then what, dude? I mean, Waddle, it was only so long ago. Like this kid was like a unanimous second, third round pick. And now he's another guy. His ADP's rising again a little bit, but again, like I think Tyreek could be falling off a little bit, right? I've heard Waddle looks amazing. Um, and we all know, Waddle is a very good receiver, man. I just think that this could be a big bounce back year for him. So that's why I went those two guys there.
Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about Waddle, since we're talking about it, and then I'll get to your question in a second, Disco. And I'm about to be on the clock. So, when we look at Jalen Waddle, right, you have George Pickens, you have Jalen Waddle, back-to-back players. Waddle's dealt with the health, but I think Waddle's the better player overall, in my opinion. Um, I would say. So let me take a step back here. So let me show the board real quick. So you have Jalen Waddle, George Pickens, you have Devonta Smith. So you pretty much have like three higher end wide receiver twos with Jalen Waddle, George Pickens, Devonta Smith. Now, projections wise, I'm currently doing my projections right now. It's taking me a little bit of time. I'm going team by team. But for Waddle in Miami, I have Waddle projected somewhere around 120 targets. I have him about 85 receptions. I think he's going to hit about 1,100 yards. Like that's kind of where I'm sitting with Waddle. About 5 to 6 total touchdowns. And I have him projected out at around 220 fantasy points. 220 fantasy points. If you break that down on a 17 game basis, let me just take a look. That's 12.9 fantasy points per game. It's not bad. I think that would put Waddle somewhere at like around wide receiver 20-ish on a points per game basis. I think that's fine. I think that'd be a good spot for where he's going right now. And I think the ceiling is high. To your point, I think the ceiling could get higher. I think he could definitely go past those projections. I think the touchdowns can go up for Waddle. In terms of his points per game last year, it was 10. So we're talking about 3 more points per game for Waddle. That'd be pretty significant. And Waddle's actually being drafted later this year than he was last year. And I'm projecting him to have more points per game this year. So I think the points per game, I think he's fairly priced. Maybe he was overpriced last year, but I think it's interesting. Like I'm projecting him to have about 3 more points per game, and he's going about 2 rounds cheaper this year than he was last year. Maybe even more than that. I have to take a look at exactly where he was going. Is there anything else you want to add on Waddle?
No, man. I mean, that's kind of why I'm in on him too. Like, I just think the stars are aligning for Waddle to have a very big bounce back year, and the value just makes it even sweeter. Because that's what I was saying. Like, dude, like, remember was it? I don't even know if it was like excuse my memory, a year or 2 years ago. He was going so high in drafts, and that's what kind of it's like, dude, like he's 26, 27 now in that range, and Tyreek is like. I wasn't buying into like Miami getting rid of him, but I am buying into like, bro, like he is getting older,
Sure.
and when Tua is healthy, it's like with A Chain. Like A Chain's point per game with Tua and without with Tua is insane. It's like 21 and 7. But it goes for all these guys too. Like look at Waddle's point per game when Tua is playing and Tua is not playing. But you know, even when Tua came back, like Waddle had some nice spike weeks. Like, so I love Waddle. I'm in on him this year. I just think everything is too good to pass up on. I
Yeah.
like you talking about those wide receiver twos there. What was it? In that range. It was
Well,
uh
before you get into, I want to mention this too. Waddle's ADP last year was 43. He was wide receiver 20. And this is for fantasy pros, so this isn't best ball, which the ADPs get pushed up a little bit. Waddle this year, 67 on his ADP. He's wide receiver 32. So he's 12 spots back at the wide receiver position, and he's more than 20 spots later on an ADP, from an ADP standpoint. So that's a pretty significant fall off. And to your point, like if Hill gets health, if Hill takes a step back, Hill doesn't even have to take a step back. Right. Tua was injured for a decent amount of time
right.
last year. I know we're getting the discount of down year last year plus risk of Tua. If
Yep.
again, you have to start looking at guys on the upside standpoint and say, all right, if Waddle doesn't work out, you took him in the sixth round. Fifth in this, you took him fifth round, but in most drafts, he's going in the sixth round, right?
Yep.
In regular drafts, not best ball. So, like, even if it doesn't work out, like, you have to start. I like to look at guys and say, okay, Tua getting injured is baked into his cost pretty significantly, I
Yes.
would say. And the down
Yes.
year baked in pretty significantly as well.
100%.
So, were you going to add anything else there? I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
like,
I just
dude,
want to
we're
make
we're
sure.
we're so on the same page. Yeah,
Yeah.
like we agree on everything with this guy.
Okay. So I'm on the board here. Running backs, I think my receivers are good. I think I could probably use maybe another guy at receiver, but I'm going to continue to hit running back because I think my receivers are pretty strong. I'll take a riskier pick in Mason over Judkins. I think Judkins should get more touches, but I think Mason has a higher ceiling, if Mason pays off. So why don't we talk about Jordan Mason and Quinshon Judkins? I take Mason over Quinshon Judkins. Judkins is projected to be the starter, Ernie, and I'm taking Jordan Mason, who's expected to be in a timeshare. I think you're pretty high on Jordan Mason. What are your thoughts on him and Judkins? Do you lean one way or the other? Judkins running back 31 right now. That's a pretty steep drop off from where he was going a couple months ago.
Yes, absolutely. Let me just queue up my guys so I don't miss them. All right, perfect. So yeah, one, I hate you, Pete, because you took my guy. No, I'm kidding. Jordan May, yeah, I fantastic pick, bro. Like that was the right pick. I love Jordan Mason. So I just think that one, he's entering an awesome offense, right? Somebody traded for him. Kevin O'Connell is an offensive mastermind. And we all know Aaron Jones is a dog, right? But it's the same thing. It's like with Tyreek Hill. Like this guy is 30, 31 years old. He's an injury prone player, right? And now, you're getting the David Montgomery of this offense. You know what I mean? Like you already know, like logic should tell you, like, who do you think is going to get the goal line touches, the short yardage? Like, it's going to be Mason. So that's how I see that split, you know, panning out. Also, like the games that, Minnesota's winning and they're running out the clock, they're not going to run it out with Aaron Jones. Like, so that's even more fantasy points. But, now let me put this idea in your head. What if Aaron Jones gets hurt? Which I think could happen and will happen. Like now you have Jordan Mason, where you look at the underlying numbers. This is where it gets exciting. Like, he's up there with like Brees Hall and Jonathan Taylor. Like he is a good running back. And he's got the size to be a bell cow man, and there's just so much to like about him, man. So yeah, that was probably like one of my favorite picks of the draft so far. I just think People are sleeping on him heavily.
Yeah, and Aaron Jones is getting up there in age, right? And I also think to your point. So here's my biggest concern with Mason is how much standalone value does Mason have if Aaron Jones is healthy? Because I don't think Mason's going to catch the football a ton, but I do think Mason's going to be the goal line guy.
I think if
That's
it
my
just
concern.
even if they're a 1-2 tandem, let's say they both stay healthy the entire year and it pans out just like they envision, I think Jordan Mason is a weekly flex. I do. I think in that offense with the offensive line they have and O'Connell, I think Minnesota is going to be like a scrappy 500 team with a really good offense, man. Like they're going to score points, and I just think Mason is in a very favorable spot to score touchdowns. Sometimes a touchdown just saves a whole entire fantasy week. So
Sure.
that's my opinion on it. I just think with that, the injury history of Aaron Jones, it just makes it such an awesome pick because I think he has value even if Aaron Jones is healthy, without a doubt in my mind.
Yeah. That's the only spot that we slightly disagree on, which is fine. I think when looking at him and Quinshon Judkins, let's say in a perfect world, if Aaron Jones is fully healthy, I would prefer Judkins in terms of like over Mason, only because when I look at Mason's numbers last year, right, just 11 receptions in a 49ers offense that loves to throw the football to the running back position in 12 games, right? He had 11 receptions. And Mason did have some issues staying healthy as well. Those
Yep,
12 games are kind
that's
of
true.
misleading because I think he left one early,
Hmm.
right? Then that Seattle game where everyone, dude, I was so jacked up for that Seattle game. He started so hot. And then he had that like AC joint sprain where like he like left after the first quarter. And like I was pissed because I bet his over on his yards and
Yep,
like he was there almost after like the first possession. And so I'm just like, but that's my biggest concern about Mason is just like can he have value as a receiver, and maybe he can get better in that area of the field.
sure.
I'm going to take a chance on Bateman because I kind of panic picked there, but I do want to go back to Disco said, what is your Xavier Worthy exposure? So I gotta be honest with you, I don't have much. I don't have much Xavier Worthy exposure. I am not a big fan of Xavier Worthy. I'm just not. If I get a guy in that offense, to me, and I know Disco, you're a big fan of him. To me, I'm taking Rashi Rice. If I was going to take any guy in that offense, Worthy's price being more expensive than Rice is pretty. It's just too much for me.
Agreed.
I don't know where do you sit on Worthy?
No, I'm completely agreed with what you just said. Like I
Okay.
I understand why his value is going up. I don't agree with it. Like I'll give me Rashi Rice later all day. Um, with that, yeah,
Yeah, I have Worthy projected at somewhere around like 110 targets. I'm not fully done with my projection, so I don't want to sit here and say like that's concrete, but I have him at about 110 because I think they brought in Hollywood. I think Hollywood Brown's going to be involved more. I think they like Rashard Smith. He's going to be involved in the receiving game. So will Elijah Mitchell. I think he's going to get somewhere around 80 receptions. And to me, I think it's a matter of can Xavier Worthy score touchdowns and have big playability, right? I think I have him projected at somewhere around 8 touchdowns. I think that's pretty high, but I think he can get there, especially if there's a Rice suspension, which we're expecting. But I just to be honest, I'm just that's kind of where I'm at with him. I'm not like super high on him. I don't have a lot of exposure to him. I think in best ball, good pick. Good pick in best ball. I don't know about this price now. I think before the inflation happened with Rice possible suspension, he was a better pick. I don't love that cost of paying, you're pretty much paying a back of the third round for him. He was the first pick in the fourth round, and I've seen him go even higher. I think he might be streaky and volatile to start on a week by week basis. But I think best ball wise, like he's a much more better best ball player. That's kind of where I project him. I also think we just have to keep in mind that like everybody just continues to think like Casey's gonna blow up. Casey's gonna blow up, and this could blow up in my face. Like I get Mahomes and them had like a bad ending to the Super Bowl, but like that offensive line did not get better. That offensive line got worse, significantly worse. I mean, significantly worse. I think that defense is not going to want to put Mahomes in harm's way. The offense is not going to want to put Mahomes in harm's way a ton if that offensive line does not take a step forward, which I don't know. They just lost Joe Tooney, one of the best players in the game. And that offensive line wasn't great towards the end of the year last year. I don't think that offensive line got better. I think their defense is going to continue to be what they lean on. I think they brought in some horses like Elijah Mitchell, Brashard Smith. They brought back Kareem Hunt. I think they're going to try to run the football more than people expect. And I just don't expect them to be this big play offense. And I think Hollywood Brown is being severely slept on. I don't know people. I really think Hollywood Brown, he was a big part of what they wanted to do last year. And I think people are forgetting that when they think about this year a little too much, to be completely honest. I'm not saying I'm going to start Hollywood Brown on a week by week basis. But I mean, I just think that he's going to be more involved than people expect. Anything you got to add there, Ernie?
Tell Hoff I'm going to kill him if he keeps taking my guys. No more strawberry daiquiris. Who were you just commenting on?
We're talking about Worthy. No, you're good. I was talking about Worthy.
No, man, you hit it on. I completely agree with you on that take.
I don't know how the offensive line improved. They lost Joe Tooney. How did they improve? They brought in the kid from Ohio
dude, you were
State.
talking about the one thing I disagree with you on is, dude, do not sleep on
Joshua Simmons. I think he's going to be good.
I think he's going to be a monster.
But they still had issues last year with Joe Tooney. Now Joe Tooney's gone. I mean, you're asking a lot from a rookie, and also losing Tooney. Like I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to look here who else they lost, but like that offensive line did not get much better. I don't know.
The thing is like when it comes to these offensive, like it's really hard to do an overhaul. Right? Why they didn't re-sign Thuney, that was kind of like a head scratcher. But what you do like to see is like, all right, you need to get a left tackle. Like, if you're going to, like, one position is going to be solved, it has to be left tackle. Because, like, a good quarterback can survive with a left tackle. It might, like, you might run into a buzzsaw eventually, right? But I rather have a good left tackle than a good interior, right? Now I think they will try to eventually, replace those interior block because they still have Creed. What's their center's name? Creed Humphreys. Yeah. So they have a good center. They have a good left tackle. Let's see, man, because a lot of times, like I feel like these guards, like these teams hit on monsters, like with day 3 and like undrafted picks. So I'm with you, man. I just can't see like. The Chiefs, like I agree, like your logic and your outlook, like I see the vision. I can't see them just like going into the night. You know what I mean? Like I just can't see them.
I don't think the offense is going to. I'm not even saying that it's going to be bad. I just don't think they're going to put Mahomes into harm's way. Where we're talking about an offense that's throwing the ball like we saw years ago, where like they're airing it out. Like I think they like this new style that they're playing, where it's a slow, methodical slog of a game where they're converting third downs and making defenses pull their hair out because Kelsey and Rashee Rice are just going to be there on to move the chains. Like I think that's what we're going to see. I mean, and yes, Joe Tooney was a guard who moved to tackle, right? I think the reason he moved on is because I don't think he wanted to play tackle anymore, and I think Kansas City was hoping he would want to stay there.
Why? But that makes no sense because he's an amazing guard.
Like he played good at tackle when he was asked to go there.
It was serviceable, dude. And then he got his ass kicked in the Super Bowl. Like
but I mean, we're talking about one of the. I don't throw it around, but like arguably one of the best rosters of all time.
It is. It is. I've said this, and this is coming from a Giants fan. That Eagles roster, right? That I think that was the best team I've ever seen. Like on paper, like this is why a lot of people can't wrap their head around like the Jalen Hurts hate or doubting, like whatever you want to call it. Like it's just because, like, bro, like that team was amazing. Like, dude, you have both of your offensive tackles are going to the Hall of Fame. You have AJ Brown and then Devontae Smith, who like I feel like you can make an argument, like talent wise, talent wise, he could be a top 10 receiver, right? You have Saquon Barkley, to wash it all down. Like, it just the team was incredible. So, but yeah, either way, I just think he's so much better on the inside. So if that's
No,
why
of
the
course, of
Chiefs got
course.
rid of him, I just think that's
Yeah.
insane.
I mean, of course he's better, but I truly think that's part of what it was. I really think that
Insane.
I think that they probably wanted him to stay there because they didn't know if they were going to be able to make additions. They brought in their big addition this year was Jalen Moore at O tackle, who they overpaid 2 years, $30 million. Who was a journeyman from San Francisco, who was a backup for 4 seasons, pretty much, right? And then they ended up getting Josh Simmons in the draft, who was a good prospect. Don't get me wrong. He has the injury concerns with the knee. I'm not saying he's not a good player. I'm not saying that they're going to be bad. Like, let's not, that's not what I'm saying here. But what I am trying to say is that it's a lot of pressure to put on to a young player to protect the best quarterback in football, arguably one of the best all time. And to put him in harm's way where Mahomes, like, that defense is so good, they're not going to need to throw it a ton. The defense didn't get worse. Like, they didn't really lose anybody. So I just overall, I just don't see it, right? And again, I think Hollywood Brown is going to be more involved than people think. So I just, to me, I'm not in on Worthy. I didn't like him that much as a prospect. So maybe that's part of bias there, but I just truly do not see it with Worthy. I really don't.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Who was big draft referred to? Offensive line definitely improved. You kidding?
Well, he's talking about Josh Simmons, but I mean, Josh
Oh, I
Simmons.
don't think they. I
I
don't
don't
think they
think
improved.
I
I
don't
just
think
think
they
Josh
improved.
Simmons is going to be a beast.
Yeah,
Take
I
with
think
that
he'll
with
be a
you.
beast.
I don't think. I think they have good pieces like Trace. What was it? Trey Smith, Humphreys. I think Josh Simmons will be a hit. But I don't think they improved. They gotta fix two other spots along the line.
Yeah, I'm trying to see who they're. Let me see. Chiefs. Let me see if I can pull it up here. So the Chiefs depth chart right now is Josh Simmons, Kingsley Sayamata. Don't even know who the fuck that is.
Second round pick last year from BYU. Dude, I actually liked him. I was kind of like
Oh,
surprised they didn't
dude,
really use
dude,
him.
dude. Hold on. I get it. Creed Humphreys, stud. Trey Smith, very, very good player. Jawan Taylor was fucking terrible,
He
and he's
sucks.
still their right tackle. So again, we're putting pressure on Josh Simmons, a rookie, to protect the blind side of the best quarterback in the NFL, and then Jawan Taylor, who fucking sucked last year. He was
Yeah,
so
he's
bad.
terrible.
He was
Yeah,
so fucking bad.
yeah.
So, and again, you're putting that guy Kingsley. Hands up. I'm not very familiar with him. I'll admit that. Maybe he's good. I'm not going to sit here and say the
He
guy's
has
not.
he has he
But
has
he's a
the
young player
pedigree.
too. But he's
Yeah,
also a
he
young player.
what they're banking on is basically their GM is saying is my young guys are gonna hit.
Yeah,
Like
I also
it's
think they
all
think they can.
pedigree.
I think they can scheme things up to where they're not going to put Mahomes in harm's way. That's what I think is going to happen. I think that they believe that Reed and Mahomes are going to scheme themselves well enough where they're not going to be put in. He's not going to be put in too many dangerous situations. Which again, that's why I don't think Mahomes is going to have this top 5 fantasy year and a crazy explosion like we saw 3-4 years ago. Like, I'm not saying he's not capable of it. I'm saying I don't think that this is what they want to do based on the roster construction and just the style of the team anymore. That's just kind of how I think. And I get it, Disco, but like, you're saying he's going to shock me. I don't think it's going to shock me if Josh Simmons is good. I'm not saying he's not good. Like that's what I'm
Everybody
saying.
gang,
Like,
oh yeah, Bully
no,
Pete.
but I'm not saying he's not good. Like, I truly don't think
Dude,
like he's
I,
good, but
but
like I just, it's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of movement, a lot of changes. And again, we're expecting Jawan Taylor to be fucking better. Like, he was terrible
no,
last year. And then you have this guy who they drafted last year who's stepping in for Tooney at left guard, who is a question mark technically too.
yeah.
So I mean, it's just a lot to ask.
Yeah,
So
no, dude, I agree with you. But he also just said he said something. He'll be graded a top 10 tackle as a rookie. Like I actually agree with that. Like I think his upside is that high. It really is. Obviously, that would be
I
insane,
think
but
he has
I
top
think
10
it can happen.
upside. I think he has top 10 upside too. I'm not
Agreed.
saying he doesn't. I think part of that is you're playing with a quarterback like Mahomes. Like Mahomes is going to maneuver the pocket well. He's one of the best pocket manipulators ever. Why do you think Tom Brady barely like took sacks? Like he was not like a mobile guy, but he manipulated the pocket so well. That's what Mahomes does really, really, really well. And so Mahomes will be able to, mask those deficiencies on top of having Andy Reid game planning every single week for you. So like those are to the benefits, right? That's arguments that you can make to say, well, you know what? I think they're going to have a good year, which I'm not saying it's going to be a bottom 20 offense. I think they're going to be a top 10, top 15 offense. I just don't think it's going to be high powered, high scoring because the defense is so good. If the defense wasn't that good, if they lost their amazing defensive coordinator, I would say, you know what? Yeah, I could see it. But they didn't have much change on the defensive side of the football. It's still really fucking good. Only thing I could say is if that offensive run game is still terrible, then I could see a little bit better than what I'm projecting, which is very possible. That offensive line could be fucking. I mean, that run game could be terrible again with just Kareem Hunt if Pacheco cannot bounce back. I could
Bro,
have.
if they roll out Kareem Hunt this year, they I will puke. They deserve to lose. But I will say this: though, if I obviously it's not ideal, but if I was going to suck at one tackle position, I want it to be right tackle. You
Oh
know what
yeah.
I mean?
Oh
Especially
yeah.
if my quarterbacks are righty, because it's like just at least nobody's going to kill Mahomes from behind him. He could see in front of him. You kind of see like, who's coming at you. So, but Taylor is terrible, man. I mean, Philadelphia just exposed like what happens when your tackles are just weak. So
Yeah. Yeah.
they got
I don't
three.
know.
I think again, I think Simmons is
And
going to
I
be
mean,
a big
and
hit.
I wouldn't say all world. Creed Humphrey, yes. Creed Humphrey is one of the best, if not the best at his position right now. Trey Smith, I wouldn't say Trey Smith's a top 5 guard in the NFL.
Top 10. I would say he's top 10. If
Top
we
10
broke it down,
fair.
I think he'd be
Top 10's
top
fair,
10.
but Josh Simmons also has to play a snap. I can't sit here and say that
I
he, and then you have 2 question marks, at
no, I fairly
Juwan
agree with
Taylor,
what
we're hoping he takes a step forward. Maybe he does after last year. Yeah, you know what? Juwan Taylor, if the NFL allows Juwan Taylor to continue to fucking false start every single fucking snap, they might be okay.
I
Sorry.
no, I just agree kind of what Big Draft Energy saying. I do think they have three pieces solved. I
3
think they need a
very,
left
very
guard.
strong pieces that can probably
Yes.
match up the
I,
other 2.
I I
I
think
agree.
they need a left guard and a right tackle. And I think they will be able to produce a good offense this year. I do.
All right. Well, now we're getting to he said, look at Mahomes' split for when he attempt passes 30, 40, 50 yards and how many times he was pressured. I don't, I mean, but that's not Bennett. I mean, but again, he was pressured a ton. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like, I don't expect him to not be pressured much this year. I'd actually be curious to look at how many QB pressures he had last year. Flyer shot. Who do I want to take here? It's usually Krosky, Merritt, Manungai, or Brooks. I haven't looked at bye weeks at all. Don't care. I'm gonna go Brooks. Fuck it. Ah, all right. Let's see. Who are you taking with your last one?
I'm gonna take Roman Wilson. That's one of my favorite picks actually right now. I love Roman Wilson.
Okay. Yeah. I liked Roman Wilson a lot coming out last year.
Dude,
Man, he just
the
didn't open.
value is right, man. I mean, bro, he tore up the Senior Bowl. Pittsburgh drafted him. That should already have your attention. They almost took him in the second round, but they got Frazier. Like they couldn't pass up on Frazier. So they luckily still get their guy. And it's like, dude, look, like Aaron Rodgers, I know he's not the MVP anymore, like, he once was, but I don't think he's dead. I mean, like, look at Sam Darnold when he was on the Jets and when he left the Jets. Like, so I think there was a little bit of that aspect in this. And I think, he'll be serviceable in Pittsburgh. And outside of Metcalf and Jonnu, who do they really have? And, he's going to be the starting slot receiver. So PPR, you get some return early. You know what I
So
mean?
you
So,
took would you queue up Roman Wilson at the end there?
yes.
Okay, I was gonna say because you just got auto picked. All right, well let's read some of these comments here. Yeah. So just to go back to this, like I said, I Mahomes is pressured, sacked 12th most last year. Mahomes very, very good at evading pressures. I would say that evading sacks. I'd say that as well. So honestly, that could have been much higher if he, if he wasn't as good as he is at evading sacks. Patrick Scott said, "What's up? What's up, Patrick? Thanks for dropping in." Disco said, "Some great clips for you. Appreciate it. Thanks." Steve said, "What's up, guys? Don't sleep on Worthy. Mahomes and him missed deep last year 10 times. They should connect on a lot more of them this year. Jalen Royals can also do some of the things Rice doesn't." See, here's the thing. I think Mahomes and Worthy did not connect on those because I truly think those were supposed to be plays to Hollywood Brown. I really think that other than them not being on the same page, like that's Hollywood Brown. Like I think they wanted Hollywood Brown to be a field stretcher. Worthy can stretch a field too. One of the fastest players. I think he was the fastest 40 time ever. So not saying that. Why is this draft not closing out? I'm trying to pull up the final teams, but it's fucking up. But whatever.
Actually, it might be a better view that way anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I also think Jalen Royals is a good call. Again, another weapon that they added to that offense. Let's see. Slee said, I would say Philadelphia exposing them is a defense on a different planet than the rest of the league.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about a completely, I mean, and but that's the thing. Mahomes was pressured even before that. That was just otherworldly, though. I mean, that was just one of those things where it's like I felt like they were able to get by, like the Chiefs, like because of their experience, because of who they had at coach and quarterback. But
Yep.
like, talent can only get you so far in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like that Eagles roster was just way too good, especially the front seven, just
Yeah.
insane. Scott said, "I hope the Chiefs sucks. I need some happiness." Me too, man. Hall said, if my JJ sucks, I suck. Yeah, probably. Steve gets it. I like Steve. Going off the rhythm on the run, blah, blah, blah. Ball with the cheat code targets while being pressured is why they missed deep. Maybe. Maybe. I mean, I'm not saying it's not true, but like, again, we're assuming less pressure. You're throwing out Josh Simmons. I think he's going to be a good player. If he's not good, if he's amazing day one, that's great. I think he has the ability to be a top tackle, but like I can't bank on a rookie being like he wasn't generational coming into the draft. Like it's just there could be some kinks. And that's the beautiful thing about Kansas City. That's what I think Kansas City likes to do. They do not pull out all their cards until the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like I just think at the end of the day, like yeah, Tyron Smith had a great impact year one. He was also one of the best tackles in the NFL. I mean, like, sure, if Josh Simmons can, guys can do it. Penei Sewell was amazing year one too. I'm not saying it can't happen, but again, we're just it's. I need to see it before I believe it. And I also think, again, the defense is really fucking good, Ernie. They're going to
Yes, they
play
are.
ball control football, and they're not going to pull out all their fucking cards, I think, until later on in the season. And honestly, I think Travis Kelce might be better this year. Can he not have a bounce back, Ernie? Can he have a bounce back? Is he going to come back ready to go for the fucking last hurrah here?
I don't know if I can back Mr. Pfizer here, to be honest. But what I will say about Kansas City is I don't think they're dead. I think they will be on a revenge tour a little bit. The only thing that holds me back is how good the AFC West is. I love the Chargers. I love the Broncos. The Raiders with Pete Carroll. Like, it's crazy that they're going to finish
Oh my
fourth
god.
this year, but they're still like, dude, I love what the Raiders are doing. I love, Pete Carroll. So yeah, like it's going to be, a tough task for the Chiefs, but I just think they're going to be on revenge mode, man. And you look at, dude, like Rice, Worthy, and then you have Royals and Hollywood. Like, dude, that's probably, well, he's had Tyreek Hill, but overall, like, that might be his best core he's ever had. So, I think that will make up for it. I do think Kelsey is like I don't know if he'll be what he once was, but I think after, that Super Bowl performance, it's like, come on, man. Like, if you're coming back for a year, like, you better show me something. You know what I mean? Otherwise, go to Taylor Swift's concert, man. Let Noah Gray step up. He's done some. I love me some Noah Gray, but yeah, that's my take. I think you're right about a lot of things, dude. Like a lot of people also like just discredit how good Kansas City's defense is, man. I mean, like, bro, like you just watched them get, gutted in the Super Bowl. Like, how you think they got there? Like, yeah, man, like the defense definitely helped them.
No,
So,
dude, Steve Spagnuolo. I mean,
stud.
he doesn't.
He
I
is a
mean,
legend.
yeah. I mean, he doesn't. He really doesn't get talked about enough. Like, I mean, when you look at these teams that win Super Bowls, like how many times their coaching staffs get poached, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Broncos didn't even win a fucking playoff game, and they lost the Bears' new OC this year is the tight end coach from Denver. Like they lost
Mhm.
defensive guys too. Like these teams that win Super Bowls lose coaches. Kellen Moore is gone to he's
Yep.
the head coach of Saints. Like Spagnola, like I don't know if it's that the Chiefs are just paying him really good fucking money and like he's comfortable, or if he's just that fucking like that his experience as a head coach was just so shitty he doesn't want to do it and he likes what he has. But like the fact that they have no risk of lost continuity where Spagnola's staying, Matt Nagy ain't getting no fucking head coaching job anytime soon because nobody believes he's the fucking mastermind there. Andy Reid ain't going anywhere unless he decides to retire. So it's like they have continuity every year, and Mahomes, the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. So like I mean it's got to be nice. I mean fuck man. I
Well, you
gotta
know
be
where
nice.
they really hit on because like obviously I know Spags is great from his New York days and I watched him, mastermind a defense that contained Tom Brady in two Super Bowls and like carried a team to the Super Bowls and will help carry a team and um obviously he got poached by the Rams, right? But then some of these guys like a lot of the times like it's funny, like they're not head coaches. Like I always say this, failed head coaches are awesome coordinators,
Oh yeah.
And you see
Unless when
Spags,
Nathaniel Hackett.
yeah. Sometimes it doesn't work, right? But you look at Spags, man, he goes to the Rams, it doesn't work out. And he knows it's like, okay, like I'm a defensive coordinator. I don't really ever want to be a, and then he makes a home in Kansas City, dude, and the rest is history. So that's why they have that continuity because they kind of got Spags at the best time to get him when it's like, all right, man, like you're gonna be a DC man, and why would he ever leave the Chiefs? Like it makes no sense. So
He's
yeah,
got it. He's got it so good. What would be the reason to leave?
yeah,
But why don't we go over these teams?
yep.
Why don't you tell me your squad first? I'll go click over
Sure.
it.
So I went 3 QB, 5 RB, 8 wide receiver, 2 tight end. I went 0 RB because a lot of my guys were going. So then I just said, screw it, let me play the board. So I went Josh Allen, Drake May, and Daniel Jones as my 3 quarterbacks. Then for running back, I went Kenny Walker. And then I took the value pick in Judkins just because he's going at
Mm.
like pick 96. Then I handcuffed him with Samson. So just in case, like again, we don't know what's going to come from this man, how heavy the disciplinary action is going to be. So at least I have a body just in case like it's bad news, right? But I like that I got that backfield package. And then I took Jalen Wright. Jalen Wright's one of my favorite 0 RB targets this year, man. I think I'm not saying he's going to do what Raheem Mostert did 2 years ago, but again, it's kind of like what we were talking about with Waddle. It's like the same vision, man. Like we're getting a buy low in Miami right now, right? Like, like people are forgetting the offense from 2 years ago and they're looking at last year. And it's like, guys, like, like Tua is back, right? If Tua is playing and, they're, Josh McDaniels, he's a good offensive minded guy, man. Like, we know that A Chain, who's a stud, like it's not that he's not a stud, but we know he's not going to be a 3 down back. He's not going to carry the full workload. And, we saw, that 1-2 tandem. And McDaniels, he's like, we want to get back to that. So I think Jalen Wright will be the guy. A lot of people are in an Ollie Gordon. Personally, I'm not. My money's on Jalen Wright. I think he's going to be that, that thunder to A Chain's lightning. And then I took a stab on Roshan. I won't talk about him too much, man. I just again, like I saw what was it, the Bears head coach, he was saying favorable comments towards Swift, but it just something about Ben Johnson, like, you moved off DeAndre Swift when you were in Detroit, and now he's going to be your heavy hitter. But most importantly, like, I just think they need a thumper. And you look at that depth chart, you have Monangai, who I like, but seventh round pick.
Rutgers,
I,
baby.
yep. Oh, hell yeah. All day. I thought he was going to go higher in the draft. I think the Bears got great value where they got him. But
Yeah.
I love Roshan coming out of college. And again, Swift's injury concerns kind of sweetens this. If he's getting that thumper role, and then I have the ups, like, of Swift getting hurt, okay, I'll take that as, like, my one of my last RBs. And then my wide receivers, I went Jamar Chase, JSN, Waddle, Josh Downs, Matty Golden, Dante Thornton, Jalen Noel, Roman Wilson. Yeah, I think Jamar Chase is just going to repeat with the setup of the Bengals, like
Oh,
bunch of dog fights, high scoring games.
okay. You did get Roman Wilson. It's just not registering here because it still says you're on the clock on my screen. So
Yeah, yeah. No worries. JSN, I love JSN with Darnold this year. Waddle, we already talked about Waddle. Josh Downs, I know that's one of your favorites too, man. Like, we both share the same opinion on Josh Downs, man. Like, you look at the numbers, bro. Like, he played a full. If you averaged out the games he played with Joe Flacco last year, he was a top, like, over a full season. He's a top 10 PPR wide receiver, just based off of how everybody. I think he would actually finish between Lamb and McLaurin, if I'm not mistaken. So there is that upside, man. Again, I don't think I think Daniel Jones. I'm not saying he's going to do what Sam Darnold did last year, but I do think these New York teams kill players, and it's like we've seen, like McKinney goes to the Packers, best free safety in football. Barkley goes to the Eagles. He's now, like, almost, like, you could probably make the argument, greatest running back of all time, and I just think, man, like, they got Steichen. They have a really good offensive line. I I just think there's a world, like, I watched, like, Richie James looked good with Daniel Jones for a little bit in that playoff run
just
year. So
retired, man.
yeah, now he's retired, right?
Just
But
retired.
I love Josh Downs. Like, his PFF grades check out, man. Like, I think he will be one of the focal points in that offense, man. He's going to be a great value. Um, and then I took Matt Golden. Again, this is where it's like it's hard to pick between him and Igbuka and Trey Harris, because I love all three of these guys and they kind of go similar ADP. I just like Golden because I think he's just as good, if not a better separator as Igbuka, and also, like, as high as I am in Igbuka, when you look at the landscapes of this, like, Matt Golden has the clearest path to being a wide receiver one, right? And everybody was trying to hit on, one of the Green Bay wide receivers last year, but I just think Jordan Love was missing, like, his guy. And I think Matt Golden could be that X factor. Then the last three are sleepers. I won't talk about them too long. Dante Thornton, I love. Fourth round pick from the Raiders. They took a bunch of shot at wide receiver this year. Again, like we said, they were going to finish fourth place, man, but be a good team. Geno Smith is a good quarterback. He's definitely a good fantasy quarterback, but I think Geno does get a little too much hate. Like, his deep balls are beautiful. And dude, this kid is
Yeah, he
like
likes those deep balls.
6. Yep, dude, he's 6'5", runs a 4.3, man. Like, not too many people can do that. So they've already been saying, like, he might play that X role, and Geno Smith loves him and has been going to him early and often.
Well, you know who
So
else can
far,
do that? Jaden Higgins can do that.
Yes, he could. I'm just scared with Jaden. I'd rather take Noel, only, and I did, only because he's a little cheaper, and I
The
think Higgins is
overlapping
more.
skill set.
Yeah, I think Higgins is more of an X. I think they had that in Nico. I think they need a slot receiver. So unless, again, they could do this. Like, it depends on what the staff wants to do. This is all a guess, but I'm thinking Noel is going to be that slot guy, and definitely it's going to start out probably with Christian Kirk,
Yeah.
right? But I think there's more of a clear path for Noel than Higgins to start off. And then I took Roman Wilson. I already talked about him. Like, that's why. Like, do you get him with the last round? I mean, I think he's I still think Roman Wilson is good. I'll eat it if I'm wrong. Like, he was one of my favorite receivers last year. He killed the Senior Bowl. And he's Rodgers' starting slot receiver. And then tight end, I went Evan Engram, Tyler Warren. Evan Engram is literally probably one of my favorite tight end targets right now. I think he has like, dark horse tight end one upside. I think people are really sleeping on him. I think just his fit in Sean Payton's offense and what Sean's trying to do. And I think we could experience a Sutton fall off this year. This could be the year, right? I think that's why they probably brought in Pat Bryant, because I don't know if they're going to pay Sutton. So I think there's a world where Engram can go into a very big target share, which would be awesome. And then I took Tyler Warren again. If I'm in on Josh Downs, obviously, I think the Colts are a little bit of a buy low team. I think there's good value there. And again, this is my second tight end, so I'm not saying Tyler Warren's going to be Brock Bowers, but Steichen's offense, like the main focal point, even going back to the Philadelphia days, is the tight end, So I don't think that's going to change. I think this kid is a monster. I think Chicago messed up taking Loveland over him. And I just think, again, Colts are going to be a team where they're either going to be down or they're going to be in some dog fights, right? And I think it's going to be a good game script for fantasy. That's my team.
Okay, I like it. Yeah, go to mine. Yeah, I kind of took some players I didn't love at the end here, but I took Fields, I took Darnold, and I took Shuck. I honestly, the Shuck pick I kind of regret. I don't really have anybody stacked with him. I don't have anybody stacked with Darnold, but I just needed bodies in case Fields gets hurt.
Yeah.
But I stacked Fields, so that's okay. But I took Bucky, I took Kamara, I took Swift. I just think I was never a big Swift guy, but I think at his cost, you're looking at I think he ends up getting to like RB 25 because of the receptions. I mean, last year, I think he was. Let's take a look here.
Well, if he stays healthy, dude, like I think if he plays 17 games, he's a top 20
Well, he
running
was
back
RB
easily.
19 last year. He
Yeah,
he hasn't finished outside of RB 24 on a points per game basis once in his career, and he's being drafted outside of the top 25 for running backs. And he had 42 receptions last year. His time with Ben Johnson in Detroit, he had 46, 62, and 48. So I just think that there's a world where like he ends up paying off. I'm not in love with the player, but I find myself taking him just because he's cheap.
sure.
Um, David Montgomery, who I didn't love the pick there, but I kind of took him anyway. Jordan Mason, I think is fine. Mason's like
Still
my
hate,
fifth
still hate you
running
for
back.
that. Still hate you
Yeah,
for that,
what are you gonna do? Actually, Mason's my one,
dude.
two.
You have
Yeah,
a good, you have a good room. You have a good RB room for sure.
yeah. Well, I wanted to because I went receiver heavy off rip. But this is the craziest thing is this like I have Lamb, Garrett Wilson, and Rashi
That's
Rice.
sick. Oh
I
my
mean,
god,
you like 2 weeks ago, like you could not get that room.
no
Like
shot.
you weren't getting, unless well, you could in theory if you went Lamb early and then you got Wilson and Rice on the 2-3 turn, you could, but you weren't getting Bucky Irving on top of that, right? And like I was operating all off season that Rice was going to get suspended at some point, so like I just so to me, to get him at that discount at pick 44, like is totally worth it. I don't think I have
Dude, you got
any
him at
right.
44.
Yeah, I don't. This is like that's
Holy
like my
shit,
first exposure to him, and so
dude,
like
that's
I'm fine with that.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's great pick. Holy crap.
but then I take Bateman and I take Tillman, just upside picks. Everybody knows I loved Cedric
Love
Tillman.
Tillman. Yeah, I
Um,
love Tillman. That's a great pick.
Yeah, that take Keenan Allen at the end here, just because. I mean, once he signs, he's gonna sign at some point. You're talking about a guy who's probably going to go 60 spots higher than this, and somewhere around like 140, 150, around that Tillman range. So, I'm fine taking a chance on Allen, right? Njoku, I love Njoku. I took Pitts naked. I took Mason Taylor to get that stack with the Jets. I didn't even really check bye weeks. 9, 8, 11.
Dude,
Yeah,
my bye
I'm
weeks
pretty good on
actually
bye.
turned out were like sick. That was like one of the things I actually liked about my team was no bye weeks overlapped, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty good on bye weeks outside of there is some risk here with starting three, and I have Lamb and Rice out same time, and then Tillman and Wilson out same time. And if God forbid Keenan Allen doesn't sign or just like fucking retires, um, then I'm kind of banking on Bateman or oh yeah. So
Yeah.
We'll see. But that's gonna do it for us, guys. If you have not already, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Mediators will be live on Wednesday. I think Hoff is gonna be live on Thursday. And I'm back from my honeymoon. Herney's back. We're getting ready to be in full swing here as news starts to pop up. We're gonna start dropping more content. Training camp is starting this week. Enjoy all of the content from the teams. Enjoy it from your favorite analysts like us. And we'll see you guys next